Elisa Lam, what really happened in that elevator? Intro. She walked into the elevator. She pressed all the buttons. She stepped in and out of the frame, looking around as if something, or someone, was watching her. And then, Elisa Lam vanished. In 2013, the 21-year-old Canadian student disappeared during a solo trip to Los Angeles. For weeks, there were no leads, no answers, no sightings. Just one video, a single piece of surveillance footage that showed Elisa behaving in ways that baffled viewers around the world. By the time her body was found, the story had spiraled into something darker, a haunting blend of mental illness, conspiracy theories, hotel horror, and unanswered questions. This is the full story of the Elisa Lam case, what we know, what we still don't know, and why it continues to disturb millions to this day. Act 1. The girl who vanished. Elisa Lam was a 21-year-old student at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver. She was artistic, introspective, and, by all accounts, struggling. She had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression. Her Tumblr blog, Ether Fields, was a mixture of poetry, pop culture, and painfully raw reflections on isolation, anxiety, and identity. In January 2013, Elisa decided to take a solo trip down the West Coast, a kind of escape. She traveled by Amtrak to California, stopping in San Diego and eventually making her way to Los Angeles, where she checked into the Cecil Hotel. The Cecil wasn't a normal tourist spot. It had a dark reputation, a magnet for crime, suicide, and mystery. But Elisa didn't seem to mind. She was just a student on an adventure. She called her parents every day to check in, until one day she didn't. On January 31, her parents reported her missing. The LAPD launched an investigation, but there were few leads. Elisa had been staying in a shared room, until her behavior reportedly disturbed her roommates enough that the hotel moved her to a room of her own. But there were no signs of violence, no witnesses, just one clue, pulled from the hotel's security footage. And that's when things got strange. The elevator footage. The video was released by LAPD on February 13, 2013. It was taken from a security camera inside the hotel's elevator, time-stamped, silent, and surreal. Elisa enters the elevator. She presses several buttons. Then, she stands to the side, waiting, but the doors don't close. She peeks out, steps back in, then out again. Her gestures grow erratic. She moves her hands strangely, as if she is talking to someone, or something that isn't there. Then she presses herself into the corner and suddenly walks away, disappearing off screen. The elevator doors close. For many viewers, the video was disturbing, not just because of what Elisa was doing, but because of what wasn't there. No one else appears in the frame, no explanation, just a young woman behaving in a way that felt unexplainable. The footage went viral. Within days, millions of people had seen it. Internet sleuths began dissecting every movement, theorizing about ghosts, demonic possession, time slips, secret doors, and worse. But the truth, as it usually is, was far more human and far more tragic. Act 3. The discovery. By mid-February, guests at the Cecil Hotel began complaining about the water. It was coming out dark, smelling strange. The pressure was low. Maintenance staff went up to the roof to check the water tanks, and that's where they found her. Elisa Lam's naked body was floating inside a sealed water tank. Her clothes were found nearby in the tank. Her room key and watch were also recovered. The lid of the tank was reportedly closed, though this has been disputed over the years. The question everyone asked was, how did she get up there? The hotel roof was protected by alarms and locked doors. You needed a key to access it. If opened improperly, an alarm would sound. None did. So had she been let up there, or was she never stopped? Act 4. The autopsy and unanswered questions. The Los Angeles County coroner ruled Elisa's death an accidental drowning. No drugs or alcohol were found in her system, but her prescription medication levels, for her bipolar disorder, were inconsistent with her official dosage. This led many to conclude that Elisa may have been experiencing a manic episode. Her behavior in the elevator, her isolation, her erratic thinking, all pointed to a possible mental health crisis. But the questions didn't stop. If she had climbed into the tank herself, how did she close the lid? Why weren't her clothes on when she was found? Why was the elevator behaving oddly? Why did the hotel take so long to search the rooftop? To this day, none of those questions have definitive answers. Act 5. The internet takes over. The Elisa Lam case became one of the first viral true crime mysteries of the YouTube era. Reddit threads exploded with theories. YouTubers broke down the elevator footage frame by frame. Some said Elisa was being followed, others claimed she had been killed by someone in the hotel. One theory accused a death metal musician who happened to stay at the Cecil years earlier. There were paranormal explanations. The Cecil Hotel had long been associated with serial killers, suicides, and ghost stories. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, had lived there. Some believed Elisa was another victim of the building's curse. Netflix even released a documentary in 2021, Crime Scene: The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. But as attention grew, so did the danger of speculation. People were being falsely accused. Grieving family members were being harassed. The line between curiosity and exploitation blurred fast. Act 6. Who was Elisa Lam? Really, at the heart of this case is not a ghost story. It is the story of a young woman with a real mental illness who was struggling to navigate life in a world that didn't always understand her. Elisa wasn't just a viral video. She was someone's daughter, someone's friend, someone who wrote beautifully about loneliness, love, and the fear of not belonging. In her blog, she once wrote, "You're always haunted by the idea you're wasting your life." Those words echo louder now. Outro: Elisa Lam's death may be officially explained, but for many, it has not emotionally resolved. The unanswered questions, the eerie footage, the sense that something doesn't quite add up, all of it keeps this story alive in the public imagination. But maybe the real mystery is why we're so obsessed with stories like this, why we need them to be more than what they are, why we turn a tragedy into a puzzle, and why, sometimes, the scariest thing of all isn't what is hiding in the shadows. It is how quickly a person can disappear, in plain sight. This was the story of Elisa Lam, and the elevator mystery that still haunts the internet.